Greetings, what is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming at you guys yet again with another 1 versus 1 battle fresh from the ladder. Featuring spawning in the south, it is going to be the Wermacht forces of Isildur. True king of men in Middle-earth, I believe. And spawning in the north, it is going to be the Soviet forces of Brosras, who has featured on the channel before, though I don't remember anything about his play because it's been so long. The map is going to be Angerville, so we'll have to see what these two players are going to do on this map. Looks like the ever-popular barbed wire going to be coming up to the left of this very, very important structure on this map. MG42 going to be the first unit onto the field, actually being deployed into the west of the map, which is not what I'd expect. There are, of course, 2 victory points in the east of the map, and there are more buildings in east of the map, so I would expect an early MG to be positioned over here. But we'll have to see what Isildur wants to do with that MG as this game gets underway here. Grenadiers going to be following that up, and looks like we've got... Are these penals? No, sorry, these are conscripts we've got. Conscript opener coming up here from Brosras. Neither player going to be choosing a commander at this early juncture, so why don't we go ahead and see which commanders these players have elected worthy of carrying into battle. We have the Lightning War Doctrine. Hey, I've not seen this one for a long time. Always fun to use, though. German Infantry Doctrine. Okay, so we saw this one on the channel fairly recently, did we? Oh, no, we didn't. Nope. Okay, nope, I haven't seen this commander for a while either. Sorry, because the commanders have changed so much. This is why I refresh myself on them at the moment. And the Struppen Doctrine, which is just really, really good. Hey, I wonder if artillery field officers are good these days. I basically have never, ever seen an artillery field officer in a competitive game of Company of Heroes, so that would be cool to see. And for Brosras, we have Mechanized Support Tactics. That's an ISU 152 commander, so he does have access to the stupidly heavy assault gun. Soviet Windustry, which we've seen on the channel relatively recently, the KV2, also counting as a stupidly heavy monster. And Defensive Tactics. Oh, so this is like the early rush commander, where all of your abilities are online by the 2 command point level. I feel like this is a better map for either of the heavy tank commanders than the Defensive Tactics commander. It's just my gut feeling. I mean, the 120mm tube is definitely going to be useful on this map, and you know, Dang Sacks are good and the light AT guns are good, but I feel like this on this map, once we pass like the 15 or 20 minute mark, this commander just sort of gets drowned for value, and I don't think that's something you want to commit to as a Soviet player on this map. Anyway, looks like most of the combat right now, as you can see on the minimap, a lot of units heading into the western map. MG42 going to be thundering away, forcing some Soviet units back up to 4 squads of conscripts now against the MG and 3 squads of grenadiers. So relatively even rosters right now. And yeah, both players seemingly off to a fairly even start in this game. No player getting massive territory control. No player getting any particularly brutal engagements or early squad wipes. So far, so good for both of these 2 players right now. Scuffles going on around the map. This MG42 definitely doing some work, because every squad it catches under its arc, it basically forces a retreat out of. So the MG42 is like the one power unit on the field right now. All of the other squads just basic infantry. These grenadiers might get forced back soonish. MG42 reckons it wants to transition into where? Into east. Flammenwerfer comes up on the engineers. That's going to be useful because there are indeed Axis units in a building right here. There we go. That Flammenwerfer immediately very useful. Going to burninate a pioneer. So nice stuff there. Axis units here just kind of idle, which is a touch awkward. There we go. Because there are some conscripts over. Whoops. There are some conscripts over here in west, just kind of eating away at a point. But the focus of the combat is here right now. Looks like Molotovs have been researched for the Soviet forces, and they're going to be used here to force these grenadiers out of cover, but the K98 rifle is going to be super effective against these engineers at that range. The grenadiers just like have always had slightly better DPS than Soviet infantry model for model, so nice killing field set up there by Isildur. And okay, we're going to have defensive tactics coming out. I mean, this is a smaller map, so if you're going to use defensive tactics on any map, I guess it has to be a smaller map where there's the possibility of a shorter game, and also where you can bring all of your early advantages to bear much more rapidly and all at once. Here comes another Molotov cocktail, so we'll see. Isildur is paying attention, very nicely done. Isildur also going to go ahead and choose a commander. He's gone for the German Infantry Doctrine, so he's going to have access to Stormtroopers and the veteran squad leaders. Medic bunker coming up in the base here for Isildur, so he's going to be able to heal his units when they fall back. But still, so far, fairly even game. What is our Soviet player saving manpower for? Oh, he must be waiting for 2 command points so that he can grab mortar tubes and stuff. It's crazy how this commander doesn't actually give you guards or shock infantry. I feel like this is a commander that would really want to have guards or shock infantry, but doesn't have it. Well, if I crack the tack, we can see the story right now. The Soviet player taking some sweet engagements, compacting the German position here, managing to get the majority of field control, has a double cap right now, and it could get double fuel depending on how these next engagements go in the next minute or so here. So Brosras just beginning to pull away a little bit, scoreline opening up a bit, 4-5-7 for the Axis player now, under 500, but you do expect to be behind a little bit as Wermacht against USSR in the early game, particularly on a smaller map. Actually, I don't know if that's true. Don't think the map size has much to deal with it. We've got a spicy machine gun on the field. It's the Dansak. Here it comes.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
So that thing always used to be an utter brute. I hope it still is. How much does it cost? 300. Yeah, it should be pretty good.
We need to re-establish our supply lines.
Wow, going to grab the cutoff though. Nicely done. These pioneers providing some heroic work for Isildur. That's the sound of the Dansak. And that's immediately going to shred these pioneers. They have to get out here. It's not good. Okay, what is that? That is the sound of a veteran squad leader with a G43. We can hear that G43 thundering away. At point blank here, they probably actually out DPS this conscript squad, so this is probably quite a good idea from Isildur, just to put his units there. But he is getting beaten by superior numbers of Soviet infantry pretty much all over the map. That Dansak being super spicy. How did these pioneers just be able to walk away from the Dansak? I guess it repositioned, which enabled them to get back up and start moving. But still, a pretty even game so far. A lot of this German infantry getting pretty low. He's going to fall back. That squad is Isildur. Other squads back at base being healed. Yeah, nice even opener here. I'm going to check the tech from the German player in just a second. Isildur? Probably want to fall back this guy? Isildur? Nice. Nice. So second MG42 going to be coming up here. Check the tech. We've got battle phase 1. No sign of an actual tech building yet from the Wermacht player. And it's so cool that you actually don't need to build a tech building if you don't want to. You can keep going because you can build MGs and Panzer Grenadiers from your Kampfgruppe HQ, if that's what it's called. What is this called? Kampfgruppe headquarters. Yeah, sweet.
The Maschinengewehr team is awaiting orders.
So second MG42 on the field now. Still kind of waiting for this game to warm up, really. We do have a tech choice here. Support weapon Campanile coming down from Brosras. You have to imagine that's for the option of the Zis gun, seeing as how he can call in heavy tubes and heavy MGs. So the real utility provided by that building is pretty much the Zis gun. I would be surprised if we saw an 80mm tube or a Maxim on this battlefield in the near future. How's that Dansak? Okay, Dansak here getting into a nice position, but the MG42 gets into the awesome building, and that'll be really nice. Going to catch the Dansak in arc here. Molotov comes down, but a timely fallback. Going to save Isildur's unit. Isildur looks to have routed Soviet forces in the west of map, so he'll be chewing up some ground over there, connecting a much-needed fuel point. But I still feel... Okay, so now we have some Soviet tech coming down. Tankovy Battalion Command. And that will lead into... I mean, he has the option of a T-70, and he'll go for it.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
So we're going to see a T-70. It's a pretty good map for a T-70, this one. Plenty of line of sight blocking. If your T-70 gets in danger and you can just loop it through the middle of the map, you can usually save it because of this massive line of sight blocker that runs all the way down the middle of the map, all of these hedges. Really good position for mines as well as the middle of the map. That road down the middle. So I wonder if we'll see any mines here from Isildur. Now, Isildur could be caught with his pants down here in a second, because the T-70 is about to hit the field, and he really doesn't have an answer for it. I mean, Fausts are okay, and they can buy you time, but it's hard to cobble together a kill on a T-70 with just Fausts. So he's going to need to get some Shreks on some Panzergrens, or a Pack Gun, and he doesn't have the option for a Pack Gun. In fact, he doesn't even have Panzergrens on the way. He can call in the half-track, but it's not the half-track assault group, so it doesn't come with the Panzergrens in it straight away. So actually, I'm a little bit worried. This T-70 looks to have no answer on the field. Here comes the T-70 now. Going with that vanilla skin, I love it. So, yeah, that's going to be really rough right here for Isildur. I feel like this T-70 is just going to do tons of really good work. Okay, so there's a T-70. What's the answer, Isildur? What are you going to do? Bro? Oh, he doesn't even have the money to pick Panzergrens right now. He has to go for Panzergrens, right? By the time the Panzergrens arrive, he'll have 100 munitions to get them the Shreks. If he gets them right now... Oh, these Grenadiers in a pretty bad way right now. Isildur is being taxed pretty hard. A couple of squads here going to have to fall back. The T-70 still unopposed with no answer approaching. I'm so worried. Mines being... Oh, no, it's not mines. That is a support armor core being built. What's your answer for the T-70 though, Isildur? You can't just hang on for an Ostwind off of that. That'll be too long. That'll be 2 minutes-ish of saving, plus the build time of the Ostwind. That is a long time to let a T-70 be the kingmaker on the field. I don't know if I like that. So, do we get some Panzer Grenadiers before? Or are we just going to try and save up for a Panzer IV under the reign of a T-70? It's really rough. I don't know about that. Flammenwerfer and the T-70 gonna displace the MG42 squad, and the German position becoming increasingly compacted. These G43 infantry leaders really do seem to rack up veterancy pretty quick though. That's good stuff. No squad wipes coming down yet on the Axis forces, but this is this is just a rough spot for Isildur to be in. Still kind of waiting to see what he's going to do about this T-70. Wherever it goes, it just wins. Like, it's just wrecking the field right now. That looks like a Faust, which missed. That's really rare. Fausts don't tend to miss, so I don't know what happened to that Faust. MG42 in a great position here, captures a lot of infantry in the arc, but the Dansak is here to answer, and there's just still nothing for the T-70, so the T-70 is going to be able to push. But, you know, Isildur doing a good job of pushing where the T-70 is not. It's going to grab these points over here. There's only one squad of conscripts in the east of the map, so this makes sense. This makes sense. The T-70 can only be in one place at once, but it is quite fast. Ostwind going to be the choice here, so looks like he did opt to just hold on for the Ostwind to deal with this T-70. He's lost a squad somewhere, actually. One of the MG42s has gone down. But yeah, this Ostwind will be able to shove the T-70 around. Faust is going to connect onto the T-70 finally. That's going to buy Isildur like a minute of reprieve here whilst that thing gets repaired. So that's pretty good. It's not even that slow though. Like, T-70s are just pretty sprightly and inflicting yet more damage. 1-star veterancy already on the Soviet light tank. Ostwind got to be on the field now, so by the time that T-70's engine is repaired, it's going to find some slightly more stiff Axis resistance out there. MG42 was salvaged by the Soviet forces, so an additional MG being added to Brosras' roster. And that's pretty scary right now for Isildur, who definitely finds himself falling behind a little bit. Except in the scoreline, his domination of the east of this map has rewarded him with a bit of a ticket lead right now. So that is at least one thing going Isildur's way. T-70 just going to be rocking on forward, but here comes the Ostwind. Man, the rate of fire change on the Ostwind just means it's such a viable choice now. Like, it always felt like a bit of a liability, like you had to nurse it to Vet 2 before, but now it just feels good. I like the Ostwind. Having 5-man Grenadier squads with the addition of this veteran leader is just hench. I am loving it. I would also love to see a fatty... Oh, we could have a squad over here. I would love to see a fat tube come down here for Brosras. And you know what? Like, Isildur just didn't have an answer for the T-70 for, like, quite a few... Whoa, nice squad wipe. Like, Isildur didn't have an answer for the T-70 for, like, a swathe of this early game. I feel like Brosras does not have an answer for the Ostwind. And he doesn't seem to have any interest in... I mean, he should buy a Zis gun, right? He has the mechanized armor Campanile. He's not going to save up for an Su-85. He could go for a T-34, I suppose, but even that's a way away. So I guess I'd like to see a Zis gun out of Brosras. The Dansak here going to be found by the Ostwind. That's going to force it right back. I mean, and now you've just got an Ostwind sitting on the doorstep of your base. And anytime infantry units encounter this Ostwind, they get forced back. So you lose west of map, Sir Allied player, or you lose whichever portion of map this Ostwind decides to claim. the roles have basically just switched. This Ostwind is like as bad as this T-70 had been for Isildur, this Ostwind is being for Brosras. Because neither player seems to want to build an anti-tank gun. Finally, Brosras thinks as this gun is the appropriate choice. And I appreciate that he's only just had the manpower to go and click that button. But that is a late Zis gun for sure. So sometimes you just get these awkward games in Company of Hero where your opponent gets an armored unit, you don't have the anti-armor support, and you just get these awkward games where you just see armored units just lawnmowering infantry with no answer. So another squad wipe coming down for the Ostwind. 12 kills already on that monster. Pretty good. Where's that MG42 firing from? Okay, so the Dansak gets into a good building, but I mean, like, again, the Ostwind will answer it. This gun is on the field, though, now, pushing down. Going to be looking for that Ostwind in the minutes to come here. 2 stars of veterancy on the T-70 is nice, but the real story, of course, is still the Ostwind. And actually, Isildur has had decent map control, has a triple cap right now, and he's coming up on, like, in about a minute, he's going to have enough fuel for a Panzer IV if he wants one, and I think I like a Panzer IV right now. Map looks good for it, although it does get countered pretty hard by the Su-85, which would also answer his Ostwind. So it's up to Isildur. If he feels like he wants the extra mid-game oomph, he can go for that Panzer IV. If he fancies saving for a Panther, he can go for Tech 3 and get something like that. Here comes the T-70, wants to have a look at the Ostwind, and it is welcome to do so. Zisgun in a nice position, going to get a good shot onto the Ostwind, so nice work there from Brosras, forces the Ostwind back. Finally we have an anti-tank gun on the field doing its thing, and hey look, if you have an anti-tank gun, you get to dictate where your opponent can and can't commit his armor, and that's a really useful thing to be able to do. 7-man conscript squads. Man, I love Company of Heroes 2 now, it's so much better than a year ago. So, as you can see on the minimap, east of map just going uncontested into Axis hands right now, and I feel like this has been a problem for Brosras this whole game. He's not really been able to have the breadth of map presence that I usually associate with with Soviet players. Panzer IV going to be the choice here for Isildur. But yeah, I feel like normally USSR is able to hold the field a bit better, whereas Brosras really pushing in just one place at a time. T-34 also going to be the choice for Brosras. So we're going to have a medium tank battle here. And, you know, you look at the top left, you look at the top right, that has to favour the Axis player. The Panzer IV always been slightly better than the T-34. And the Ostwind, like, definitely outclasses the T-70. So this is going to be a tough time for Brosras here. And his commander, we're already approaching the phase of the game where this commander just doesn't offer anything more, you know? He can take 120mm tube, and I still think that would be a fine choice. It has good range, it can be relevant most of the time on this map. Oh, my goodness, the T-70, getting some work done. He really wants that Faust, but he ain't going to get it. The Panzer IV just going to try and overrun the Zisgun, and that's probably going to work. So the T-70 in severe jeopardy. I don't think there are any mines around the place, and there are no conscripts nearby either to try and get an AT grenade onto this Panzer IV. So the Zisgun in severe jeopardy right now. T-70 going to try and get some work done on the rear armour of the Panzer IV, but it's just a little tickle cannon, really. The Panzer IV blissfully unconcerned. The Ostwind comes back into the Zisgun's rear arc. This should be an AT gun kill for the Axis player. He should be able to cobble together the kill on this Zisgun. How is this Zisgun just taking round after round of fire? There we go. Okay, also in the meantime, somehow this T-34 has been wounded horrendously. Did it hit some mines? Something must have... What the hell has happened to this T-34? Okay, well the engine is severely damaged and it is really wounded. That had to have been a telemine or something, right? Wow, the Zisgun gets recrewed though, and the Panzer IV is still just out here trying to dance. He's going to get the T-34, he gets the Zisgun. This game could be over quick. Okay, yeah, this game's over quick. I mean, there's not really a lot to take away from this game, chaps. I mean, not every game of Company of Heroes goes into an epic late game, and not every game of Company of Heroes 2 is well matched. And it just seems like Brosras off to a fine start in this game, and I basically approved of everything he did up to picking the T-70 and its early use. But then it seemed like he was unable to really dominate the map. And I feel like if you're playing as Soviets, and you go for a conscript heavy opening, and you have a Dansak and a stolen MG42, and you have a T-70, you really should be able to maintain map presence in more than one place at a time. And on this map, what I basically mean is you should be able to hold 2 of the victory points. It's up to you which 2 you want to take. If you just want to hold east, just hold east. But if you only hold one place on this map, it has to be east, because that's where the 2 VPs are, and it's where the best buildings are as well. And Brosras just not really doing that, kind of flailing away trying to get west, and then just giving away east completely, or trying to get east but not really getting it done, and letting the Axis player have west completely. When you let Axis have that much field control, they get to come at you with superior units, and your numbers don't really count for much with Soviets. So, you know, we just saw an Ostwind able to take, you know, answer the T-70, and then a Panzer IV able to answer the T-34. I think both players were quite late on picking a ZIS gun. An anti-tank gun. And I think if the Soviet player was a little bit sharper, like if you recognize that your Axis opponent doesn't have a pack gun, you can be a little bit more edgy with your T-70, you know, like there's not really a lot stopping you taking a dive, getting more retreating squads. I mean, I don't want to say just like right click your unit in here and be done with it. I mean, like, you know, take a cautious dive, scout in, and if you see that they don't even have the building to build pack guns, then you can feel pretty good about life. So, yeah, I think there was definitely a window where that T-70 could have gotten more done. It wasn't bad. It still got itself up to 2-star vet and is surviving here at the 20-minute mark-ish. But it just... There was a massive window of opportunity before the Ostwind came where it would have been nice to see a squad wipe or two, and that could have changed the texture of this mid-game that we have here. But in the end, it is going to be a victory here for Isildur, so well played to him. Puts together a nice fight, taking out that ZIS gun in handsome style, realises that that's the crucial unit on the map. The T-34 falls foul of some mines on its way to the front, and that's going to be game. I mean, obviously, if they're playing for $1,000, Brosras could definitely stay in this. This is definitely not a 0%er, but if you're just playing on the ladder, it's fine to quit this one. This game looks pretty ugly right now. So, yeah, that concludes this video. Thank you very much for watching, and this for now, Magpie42 signing out.